Toastmaster Robert Leedy has spent much of his adult life coming to terms with his nonconformist family origin. Exhibit A in the family is Robert's older brother, Rolene. Robert hopes to portray some of Rolene's crazy escapades while simultaneously demonstrating the strange pride he has in being Rolene's baby brother. Please welcome Toastmaster Robert Leedy as he gives his speech. Take some advice from Rolene.
Thank you. Rolene Del Rio is my only brother. He was born Roy Charles Leedy in 1948. In the early 1980s, he legally changed his name to Rolene. And about 2 decades later, he added Del Rio. For most of the past 50 years, Rolene has been mastering the art of being a vagabond. And over the years, he's picked up skills and survival tips that most of you would never, ever dream of using. For example, what if you get in trouble with the law? Take some advice from Rolene. Let's say you've just recently defaced a billboard with an obscene slogan, and you've gotten caught in the act by the police. You're facing felony charges for property destruction. You need a lawyer. However, you've only allocated $15 in your budget for legal expenses. Don't let that discourage you. Rolene found a lawyer, went into his office, took out $15, said, "I'll give you $15 for 5 minutes of legal advice." The lawyer looked at the money, looked at Rolene, said, "Okay. You'd do that, wouldn't you, Mike?" Rolene says, "Look, I'm facing felony charges for property destruction. What should I do?" The lawyer said, "Well, just go over to the prosecutor's office. You could probably work something out with him." Rolene says, "Thanks." Heads over to the prosecutor's office and introduces himself. It turns out that the prosecuting attorney had a photo of the billboard. "You're the guy who did this?" Rolene said, "Yeah." "You're not going to charge me with a felony, are you?" The prosecuting attorney said, "Well, I'll tell you what. Will you plead guilty to a misdemeanor and pay $175 in restitution?" Rolene said, "Sure." And that's exactly how it went down in court. Total cost, $190, including legal fees. How about getting a roof over your head on very short notice? Take some advice from Rolene. Let's just say you got a ride to Fort Bragg, California, just a little bit north of San Francisco. You don't know anyone in town. You don't have any money. You've spent it all on legal fees. Find yourself a thicket of wild blackberries, 30 feet by 70 feet, in a very marshy area. Now, carefully crawl underneath that thicket of blackberries until you're kind of right in the middle of it, and try to stand up and push those vines and thorns up and make yourself a little space under there. Now, go and find some wooden pallets, bring them back, and you can build yourself a custom wooden platform with the 3 tools that you brought with you: a vice grip, a screwdriver, and a rock. You can even build a roof for this crudity. Now, there's some high grasses that lead into the thicket. Place some rocks as stepping stones on the grass. Put them at odd angles to each other so that no one can follow your path. The grass will hide the rocks. Only you will be able to get to your little platform without getting your feet wet. And finally, make for yourself a dummy camp on the north side of town in case the police come up and ask you where you live. If you do all this correctly, you can live in your new digs for months without being detected. 4 months to be exact. What will you eat, you ask? Well, there's a Safeway nearby with a great dumpster. It's a popular place to get food. The dumpster, that is. One day you're in the dumpster along with some other guy. You find 2 unopened pecan pies. Your buddy finds an unopened container of whipped cream. Watch out, or you two will be like bears at a salmon run. Now, you need some money. It's time to open up the Washed Up Jewelry Company of Mendocino County. You see, the beach is 100 yards away. All kinds of abalone wash up on shore. So you need to make your first real purchase, a tube of glue from the local craft shop. With that, you can make all kinds of jewelry that you can sell on the beach. Here's a little rattle that Rolene made for my son, Caleb, when Caleb was just a little child. It's made out of a piece of rope, a shell, and some threads. It's beautiful. Unfortunately, Safeway gets a compactor and your regular food source dries up. Rolene now lives in Twisp, Washington, a little town where, among other things, he helps out some potato farmers with their harvest. In return, they let Rolene have all the potatoes that don't quite make the grade. They have little blemishes on them, but they're still good for eating. Rolene loads them up in 60-pound bags and gives them away to friends and complete strangers in Twisp. In the past couple of years, Rolene has given away 4 to 5 tons of potatoes. The locals call him the Spud Muffin. Well, we're running out of time. I can't tell you why Rolene is permanently banned from Canada, how he helped shut down the only nuclear reactor in Vermont, and why my sister won't ever let him borrow her car again. But if you find yourself in an unusual predicament and you don't know what to do, you might just want to take some advice from Rolene. Mr. Toastmaster.
That was good.